Hi, everyone. Welcome to another fabulous episode of Deliberately Intentional with me, Remi Fagmont. We have one of my amazing friends in the studio with us today, tuning in virtually, and her name is Mrs. Titi Asase.
Hi.
Welcome, my love.
Thank you.
Titi and I have been friends for, would I say 13, 14 years? Titi, is it
Maybe
14
fif-
years?
maybe
15.
15. Yeah.
15 years. We met, she used to be just, we met via fashion because fashion was my bread and butter for the longest time. But we also fell in love with each other, I would say, because we had like-minded, strong views regarding family, regarding friendship, and regarding not trying to fit in with everybody else. So like everyone was going one way and we would basically be trying to go our own way. But TT is now going to weigh in on a few questions that we had that were sent in because she cracks me up and I'm sure she's going to crack everybody else up. And I'm going to let her read the very first one.
Right.
Do you want to go with the first one or do you want me to read the first one?
Okay, I can read it. It
Okay.
says here, dear Auntie Remy, I hope you see this message and respond. I'm not I am not really one to ask people for help. So please keep me anonymous. I'm 34 and my wife is 31. We just had our first baby. And to be honest, I didn't expect it to change things between us. We love each other and we both wanted this baby. Our daughter is the light of our world. However, we are now arguing constantly about everything from how to feed the baby to who should wake up in the middle of the night. She thinks I'm not doing enough, but whenever I try to step in, she criticizes me for not doing it her way. I feel like we're on opposite terms, and I'm worried that this is going to create a bigger rift between us. How do we get back on the same page as partners and parents? The more I seem to try to get close, and she won't let me.
So, my friend, what do you think? Starting.
For starters, mm, the first question is, what part of the world are they? From all intents and purposes, why I'm asking this question is because, so first of all, if you're a first time parent, you would have the parents, the grandparents come in.
Sometimes,
So
sometimes.
yeah, so that's the first thing that came to mind is what part of the world are they? Because if you're first time parents, first timers, elders should come in. You were in Africa or thereabouts to gently, ease you guys into, expectations, routines, and whatnot. Now, if you're out of the country, if you're in another part of the world, so basically, they both need to understand that first of all, they're on the same page. They're sorry, on the same team.
Yeah.
It's not, people tend to have this mentality of it's a woman that should know everything. I don't understand why.
Oh, but girl, but you know why though? You know why?
Uh,
People assume that a woman should know everything. Just like we as women also assume that men should know everything. They should know what takes to be a father, to be a husband, to be all of these various things. And nobody knows it all.
Right,
Right?
right.
We talk about this all the time about the fact that when you get married, it's another education that you're starting. It's another higher education, and this one doesn't even end because it's another part of your life that you've actually never done before. For most people, even if you've married before, if the marriage failed, there's a reason why it failed.
So let me come in this way. God forbid, if the mother wasn't around, I'm just saying,
Yeah, but if the
I'm
mother wasn't around, if this wife wasn't around, is what
mm,
you're talking about.
yes. Then
Yeah,
what?
but I'm saying that in general, like it
Mm,
or not, even
mm,
depending on, it doesn't even matter where in the world they are.
mm,
When we were here
mm,
I think I had Charles in London, there was
mm,
nobody with us. I did
mm.
not have anybody with me. Granted, I am different, but
Right.
it's not like I couldn't have people over if I wanted to. My mother-in-law was still alive, but she was older, and I just felt I knew I was capable. I think
Mm,
the biggest thing that I'm seeing with this particular couple is that most of the time, even if women have it all figured out and you know what you want to do, which it sounds like she does, she has a way she wants to have the baby fed. She has a way she wants to do things. She's not looping him in. She wants him to be involved.
I humbly disagree.
Disagree.
Disagree because listen, if the child, if he does it the way he does it, not, you can't prescribe to, they're 50-50 on the child in terms of, they are both parents of the child.
I agree,
So
but she's criticizing him though. That's what
I'm trying to
she's
say, that
criticizing.
he needs to understand that let him do what he needs to do to learn, and let him learn on the job. Let him do what he needs to do.
But remember, the person writing this one is the husband. He's the one saying that I don't know what else to do to help her. She's criticizing me, and we're having issues. Oh, it's the guy complaining. Like, he's trying to do all he can.
Simple. They should sit down. Right? It's not even that difficult. Sit down, go down the middle. This is what you're going to do, Mr. A, Mrs. A. This is what you're going to do. Now, Mr. A is doing his 50%. Okay? Until Mr. A comes to Mrs. A to ask for directions or guidance. If he doesn't do it well, let him find out. Google is everybody's friend these days. So give him the benefit of the doubt.
But Google is not 100% accurate. You will get 15 different versions from Google, right or wrong.
Well, eventually, hold on. Let me tell you, if we come at the man from that, okay, then you are tethering with his confidence. Maybe he's not somebody that is not concluding. He thinks he is. Now she's burning candles on both ends. But she's stressed out. It's taking a toll on her body, and she's not getting enough sleep. So obviously, she needs to slow down a bit. Let him make the mistake as he goes, and cut down the middle, because otherwise you will ruin. You'll create a strain in your marriage because you want to be Mrs. Know It All, Mrs. Do It All.
You realize that we're supposed to be advising. We're supposed to be giving the guy advice because the guy is the one. Yeah, but what we just said is probably what is already going on in his mind. We need to give him advice on how to deal with his wife.
Yeah, that is it, Remi. They should come down the middle.
It is not. It is how is he going to deal with the wife? It is not. If it was both of them that we were giving advice, then absolutely what you're saying is 100%.
So Remi, he can go to her and still say, okay, which one do you want to do, and which one would you like me to take over? And when I'm doing it, please let me handle it.
We are both in agreement that they're both on the same team. I think it is in the house of handling it. And this is one of the reasons why I brought you here, because again, Titi and I can be on the phone arguing from today to tomorrow.
Yeah, Remi, but what I'm saying is that it is undermining him if he has to.
Absolutely. We are both in agreement. But this actually happens not even just with kids. It happens across the board on so many different angles in marriages. You do agree. This is how I think it should be done. And you don't look for, it's not like you can't correct your spouse. Of course, we stay correcting day in, day out. But it is how you correct. If your spouse feels that you're criticizing them versus treating them with love and understanding, like, okay, this person does not know, versus criticizing and saying that you should know, you're not going to get anywhere. You and I both know that approach for most people is very off. It's not that the message that you're trying to deliver is wrong. Of course, he might not know how to carry the head the right way. Of course, he might not realize that he needs to birth first. Of course, there's a lot that he may not know to do that comes to us women very, very naturally. Some of us naturally. Some people go deep through these basic things some cannot do. But what he's saying now is like, we are fighting a lot. They are having a lot of fights, and they are not getting any headway. Because every time he tries to help, she's criticizing him for not helping. And then when he tries to help, she's criticizing him again for not doing it the right way. So he feels like, I can't win.
Yeah, so again, I will say to you, number one, there are various classes they can take, they can both take.
Yes, there are. You're absolutely right. There are classes they can take. But when you're a newborn parent, that whole class should have been done. I always say to people that the minute you get pregnant is when you should be planning for that period, because you won't have time.
Yes,
you won't have time.
I mean, I know, Remi, but the world has gone far away, far in terms of technology, in terms of learning, in terms of so many things. me 22 years ago. Do you understand? There are some people that have nobody to help them. It- They both want just him that is complaining now. Because if you're reading between the lines, she's tired. She's she's tired, right? She's physically tired. Remi, hold on. Understand me. She's physically tired. He also wants to chip in to help. So the best thing is for both of them here to invite her to say, look, you are tired. You hope she's not suffering from postpartum depression. It could be a bunch of things. What do you want me to do to help you? It is about her, Remi. She has to understand that nobody's going to do things exactly the way you are doing it. It's not possible. That's why
Well,
we're both with the people are individuals. Do you understand? If you want
I
help,
do
please.
understand. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm also trying to, again, sometimes I think the one we're both still kind of sort of saying the same thing is just that you're really focused on her, and I'm not against her either. I'm just focused on the person who's asking me for the advice, which is the guy. So under normal circumstances, if I had two people, because I've had this as well, two people coming in, then everything you're saying, I'm going to tell the guy's side, I'm going to tell the girl's side. Right now, we've told the guy that this is how she's feeling. He needs to find a way to get his message through to her, knowing that these are the things going on with her. Because at the
Remi,
end of the
but he's
day,
not.
with all the classes,
Remi, but he's not a mind reader. He's not a mind reader.
nobody's asking him to be a mind reader, but he's asking, again, he's the one asking us for advice. He has to find a way to still talk to his wife. At the end of the day, we can give advice from today to tomorrow. He has to find a way to have a conversation with her. How would you like me to do this thing? Even if I'm doing it wrong, can you approach me this way? Tell me this way. Because all this one that you're criticizing me is not going to make me want, it's any normal person is not going to make the person want to help. Regardless. Yes, it is our child, though. It's our child.
Yeah.
It's our marriage. It's our home. If you tell me to clean it this way and you're shouting at me, am I going to want to do it? No,
So
you and
Remi-
I both know. We both have spouses. If you talk to your husband some type of way, is he going to do what you're asking him, even if what you're asking for is right? Will he?
Again,
I'm like,
from
oh,
what
I
I
can
hear,
talk on my own. My own, we not.
even if he goes to her, she could. I'm playing the devil's advocate. Sorry to say, on both sides, it's difficult to give just him advice in this capacity because
That's what we were asked to do.
it is two people here, right? If he
Absolutely.
goes, even if he goes and says, okay, how do you want me to? Do you understand? How would you like me to do it? How would you like me to do this thing? How would you like me to do that thing? Do you understand? It is still going to cause a rift because there's propensity for men that are forgetful. So I think he should go to her and sit with her and say, okay, listen, you are going to show me what you want to do, but bear in mind that I'm also an individual. So there's a possibility that you might teach me this thing this way, but I might do it another way. But at the end of the day, my husband always says to me, what is the end goal? It is not necessary.
That's what all of them want. They all want to just hear the end goal.
So he needs to listen to her, but at the same time, he also needs to give him benefit of the doubt that they are both new on the job. So there will be mistakes made. There will be mistakes made, and
their mistakes are okay as long as it's not detrimental to the big. Yeah, mistakes are okay.
Because at the end of the day,
it's not going to be perfect.
It's never even you at this call you somebody with a gold in marriage and child rearing.
Oh, it's not perfect.
Every day you are learning, right?
Absolutely.
So I feel that he is willing. He's willing. He is
willing.
He's willing. So
she needs to be a little less. She needs to be a little less rigid.
That is why I'm saying that it's going to be hard to just give one person. He needs to sit with us and listen. I need you.
But the one place that I would only say that I disagree a little is that I feel that him understanding her perspective will give, because understanding anybody will allow you to know which angle to come in from. I understand how you think, and so I can modify how I'm going to approach you based on what I know about you, right? What he knows about his wife. Either she's a perfectionist or whether she just has, or she has more experience with kids. Because in my case, I was the one that had more experience with kids. I still had to find a way to get my point across to the person in a way that he can understand. I can be saying it or it might make sense to me, but I need to find a way to let it make sense to the person that I need to get it. And that's what most people miss.
But on the flip side, she must also be open to receiving
Yeah, well,
what
hey,
is
absolutely, absolutely. Agreed. And if we could stay at this, we could be arguing on that one from today to tomorrow. But at the end of the day, we'll wrap this particular issue up and say that um, find a way to get through to your wife, because I know that you probably feel like you have. But in this case, sit down, try and, you know what, we are on the same team. The key words that my friend said was that we are on the same team. We
okay.
both, this is our daughter, and we want the best for our daughter. So even if
Exactly.
I'm not doing it right, I'm sorry I don't automatically know how to do everything the way you wanted to. Work with me. Understand that, okay, maybe I'm not doing it perfectly, but I'm doing it to the best of my ability. But at least I'm here trying to help.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, madam,
Exactly.
if you are doing it all by yourself, you will be tired.
Exactly.
You're going to be
Exactly.
exhausted. And then you'll be complaining about the fact that he doesn't want to help you without realizing that you were the one that pushed him away from helping you.
Exactly. So, like I said at the beginning, both of them need to hear each other out.
They
So
do.
it's
But
good
isn't
that
that the
he's
case with
asking for.
all marriages? Every issue that we have there, it's not even just kids. Every issue that exists, isn't it that the people don't hear each other out? Where is she coming from? Does it make sense? Okay, it makes sense. Hey, where am I coming from? Does it make sense? And that's the biggest problem in marriage in general is everybody knows what they want, but nobody wants to find out what the other person wants as well, and then try to find a middle ground, a bridge to bring both together.
Yep.
Forgetting that they are both in the same. Are we both not in the same marriage?
Exactly. So that's basically, yeah, that's
That's
what it
that
is.
one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to read the next one. I'm 51 and a mom of two amazing kids in their 20s. My husband is a surgeon and we have a pretty great marriage. For as long as I can remember, being a stay at home mom was my dream. I loved every minute of it. Volunteering at school, cheering at soccer games, and being the go to for family activities. It's been fulfilling. But lately, things have changed. Pause. I've heard this multiple times in the past 3 weeks. I'm going to continue. With both kids off doing their own thing, one studying abroad and the other starting a job in a different city, I started to think about what's next for me. Honestly, I didn't give much thought to life after the kids left home. Now I see friends thriving in their careers, and it makes me question if I could have done more for myself. The thought of spending the next 30 years just hanging around is stressing me out. Everyone around me tells me to relax and enjoy this time, but that just adds to the anxiety. I feel like I need to find a new purpose or passion, but where do I even start? Any advice on how to do this?
Hmm.
You gonna go first or I should go first?
Well, you go first.
Believe it or not, I think I had somebody on my couch literally 2 days, no, 3 days ago, and she's in her 40s. And she was saying, that she didn't feel like she was doing enough, her career, had this, had that. And of course, I've had a different view on certain things. I feel like when it comes to family, as much as we're becoming very feminist and we're pushing our careers and what have you, there's some certain things that I personally believe that without a mother, a proper hands-on intentional mother, that there's some things that kids will just not get. They will miss out on, in my personal opinion. So I'm
True.
not saying that you shouldn't. And because I feel like that, I feel like there's a way that you have to look at your entire life. You are either the person that's going to get the career going first, and I've gotten it to a point where then you can feel like you can take a couple of years off, or you can take some time off to set your kids up and then go back to what you want to do. There's that person. There's another person that's going to dedicate a lot of their lives and going to be a bit low key on certain things in their career, which is where I am, because I feel like I did bits of my career, but I didn't push it to the level that I could have pushed it. I turned down so many things because I didn't want to be too far away from home, because I knew that the only person that could raise my son the way I raised him was me. Even if you hire people to do a job, oh, you got a nanny, you got this one, you got a that one, you've got all these people, they will do what you ask them to do. But there's still some certain key things that only a parent, and it could be the dad, it could be the mom. Some men are more emotionally intelligent than some women are, and they have that. Obviously, they must have been
Right.
raised by a particular woman that has raised them a certain way that they can pour that into it. But I also feel that there is a level of fulfillment that I get from seeing everything I've done with my son. Same thing with my husband as well. There's a level, it's a different kind of, as the kids say, there's a different kind of vibe. So I don't feel like I'm any less fulfilled because I've been able to lift other people up and I was able to pour into my family. I feel doubly fulfilled. And I'm like, okay, I'm 50. I've said I'm going back to school. I'm doing my own thing. But we all look at this life as if it is linear, like it is all going to happen between, it doesn't happen between 20 to 20 to 30 or 30 to 40 or 40 to 50. What is stopping you from looking at your entire life and looking at the fact that what your child is going to need from you is only for a portion of these same long years? So instead of you looking at it like you're not being fulfilled, one of the many things that you did was raising your two kids beautifully. That is part of your achievement. Because I definitely look at it that part of my achievement is what I did with my son. And I know you say the same thing because you're like, you know what, you love him to bits. And I know that I couldn't have hired somebody because I know my son, he would have walked all over. He's too smart. He would have walked all over anybody else if I had placed them around him. But that's the
You-
one thing is that one parent has to at least be very, very present and hands-on regarding the kids. And so for this woman, my advice would be, there's always more light. There's so many things you could start doing. At 51, you could pick up a new hobby. You could even go back to school, which is what I'm doing at 50. You can go back to school. There must be something in your entire life, in these 50 years, that you've probably had a passion for and you've thought you didn't see the point of doing. And now you have all the opportunity in the world to do. Life isn't over because you've reached a certain number. You can still do so many other things. What do you think?
Well, basically, read some excerpt from what she said.
She's
And
also
that-
guilty of comparing as well.
That's exactly what I was going to. You
Yeah.
know, the grass is never greener on the other
No,
side.
it's not.
Now, so I feel like she's looking at her life and comparing it with her friends that have done this and have done that. Whereas there are some friends on the other
That
side of the
comparing to
fence
her too.
that don't even have kids, don't have a husband, and feel like, okay, well, I don't have a kid and I don't have a husband. So everybody's trajectory or everybody's path in life is different.
Absolutely.
And a lot of women don't give themselves enough
Enough
pat on the
credit.
back.
Yeah.
Not enough pat on the back for
Kudos.
yeah. I wish or feeling belittling the achievement of raising three wholesome human beings, hopefully
Exactly.
that are going to go on to do greater
Amazing
things for their
things.
lives,
Mhm.
which is inquantifiable in financial terms, in terms
I
of
agree.
a commitment, to make sure these two people's lives, turn out okay. So I don't understand why some women of a certain age feel that they have to compare or trivialize them choosing
Themselves.
not choosing their family and making sure that their families are okay, raising the kids and all these things, trivializing that whole um, um, sacrifice and
Sacrifice.
quantifying it in terms of the financial gain of their friends or contemporaries. I
That's
understand
the
it.
way. I don't understand it either, but it happens more than you think. Most people feel like, well, I need to be doing something more, forgetting that there is something great you're already doing.
Or
I
something great that you have done already.
Or that you're already done doing, because I feel that even though I always say to people that people think that, oh, once your kid gets into college, I know the amount of work that even while you're in college, there's a certain amount of work you have to do there. When your kid becomes a young adult and is already out there making their money, there's still guidance. Parenting never really ends. It just evolves.
Yeah.
It
So-
evolves.
so-
You're
so-
not going to have to be as hands-on as you were when they were toddlers, obviously, but you still need to have your eye on it to know that, okay, things are still going according to plan. They're still happy and thriving in whatever their choices that they're making, that they're still making smart choices regarding their friendships and their dating and their career choices. There's still so much work to be done. And whether you like it or not, it can be very difficult for some people to do both, to have a career that is thriving. And especially, I always say that I'm a type A individual. If I was chasing money properly, I would not have my eye on anything else. It will be completely on that because I'm going to want to hit all my marks. I want to exceed because that's just me. So me being able to, and that actually, let me be 100% honest, is when I was chasing money aggressively was when we had our biggest issue because I really was not paying attention. I always say it honestly that I wasn't paying attention to what's happening at home. I'm like, oh, they are fine. Because, oh, nobody has said anything. Okay, they're fine. So I wasn't really paying attention to a lot of things. And that was where my shift also happened, whereby like you can try to find this balance whereby your eye is not off of your husband, your eye is not off of your child, and you're paying attention to what is actually in front of you, what's really important. You can always make money. Should be if I'm making the money now. Is anybody stopping me? Is it going to hurt anyone at this point? But if
Mm,
I had done it, timing is also something people don't pay enough attention on, ought to,
mm,
right?
mm.
Timing is key. If I had said I was going to chase money earlier on, trying to reconnect with my son now after he's out of the house would have been impossible. Because the
Well,
moment when you that
the world would have raised your son for you.
bingo. And so people don't realize that there's a time, there's a time sensitivity when you need to be hands-on, present with your child so that that connection is solid. There's nothing that will shake him. My son is very much his own person. You can't tell him that he's going to look at you like, okay, no, because the world didn't raise him. I raised him. And so because I raised him, I can actually tell you everything you need to know about him. But he also knows who he is as a person.
Yeah.
Nobody raised him but me.
Yeah.
And me raising him means that I pushed for him to become his own person, pushed for him to be independent. There's so many things that only a parent can do. So to this woman, to round up her question, I feel that you have actually done so much and you don't give yourself enough props. Stop comparing. I say this often. Social media has you like, this person is doing this person is doing that, this person is doing this. I should be doing that. But what about the beautiful thing you did with your two amazing individuals? Because whether we like it or not, those two amazing individuals that you raised are what some other people have. Oh, I've got all the money, but they have no connection with their kids, or their kids are not doing anything with their lives, or the list is long. Or the people are looking back on their lives and were like, I wish I had spent more time with my kids when I could, because now they are gone. One thing you don't want to have in your life is regret. Money can be made even at 50. Somebody go and read some autobiographies and realize that there are people that are making money in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s. Some new millionaires are coming at that point in time. So there's nothing really stopping you. So stop looking at
And
your
also
life like
just spend less time. Also, to spend less time. You know, I see
comparing.
friends. You know, all sorts of, you know, all these things. 51, if you know better than what is, I see friends thriving. Why? Just be
That this
content.
thing
Be
is not
content.
limited to age. You know it's not limited. You and I both know it's not limited to age. It doesn't matter at any age. You can still compare. That means that she was never fully developed when she was in the early part of her life. It's probably been there for a while. She just never acknowledged it, and she's acknowledging it now. But she might be the person that's always compared her house to other people's houses. That's sounding, you never know. You just never know. I don't know who she is fully, but I'm just saying that there's a lot going on here that is saying age is not a defining factor.
Yeah, she's her confidence is shaking. She needs to jack herself up and get on with it. You know, and if she's suffering from menopause, well, then she also needs to jack up her brain and cut
Aren't
out
we
all these.
all?
Yeah,
Aren't we
well,
all?
she needs to cut out all these, you know, friends, everyone says around me to relax. And I see everybody do it. She needs all these things. She needs to cut it out. And praise God that she even woke up one day and she can breathe fresh air and she's not in the hospital. So she needs to get over herself. You know,
Oh
could have
my
been
God.
worse.
You are reading the next one, or do you want me to read it?
Well, you can read it.
All right. Dear Remi, I stumbled upon your page a few years ago when you were heavily styling men, and I also admired how proudly you support and love your family. Currently, my wife and I are going through a rough patch. I lost my job about 6 months ago, and now she's the one bringing in the money. This role reversal is hitting me hard, and it's affecting our relationship. I feel like she's starting to lose respect for me, and we've been arguing more than ever. She's stressed about the bills, and I feel like I'm letting her down. I don't know how to get out of this rut, and it's starting to create a distance between us. How do we handle this without letting it break our marriage?
Well, first of all, do you guys even remember what your vows were? It means you're one. I mean, for God's sake, people get, you know, get carried away. You are one means you're one. Means
Ooh,
you are one.
You
You
are
are
one.
Yeah. So
Always.
it is not a competition. It is not a if you are one, then it doesn't matter who is doing bloody what. Sorry, Remy.
Agreed.
I'm passionate
Agreed.
about this. So I get irritated if you're one, be one. And you know, a lot of people, when it's convenient for them, you know, us women especially, you know, when we start to make some money, if our partners a bit, you know, going through career
changes, challenges.
hiatus or whatever, you know, it's a transaction because I don't understand.
Shouldn't be. It shouldn't be
a transaction because if you're one, be one all the way. But I mean, why is it that it is convenient that okay, well, you know, this lopsided mentality. So again, if you heard what I said at the beginning of the conversation, I'm not from this mentality of gender tagging of this person should do this or this person should know better than this. You understand? If you're a team, you're working together for a common goal. So why is,
Absolutely.
is she now, like Nigerians would say, raising shoulder because and then demoralizing him further? So he's carrying on because she's making money now. And well, but then again, I have to be careful because we have to also hear her. It takes two, right? So her part,
Yeah.
we're only hearing what he has to say. But
True.
listening
He's
to
saying he feels. He has not said that she was rude. He has not said anything. But I think
yes,
that the advice that I would give him is that he needs to, your advice is completely accurate, is to realize that you are both on a team. We still come back to the same thing. Everybody needs to look at their marriage as a team effort. As what my therapist would say, it's a company. So in this company, we are both co-CEOs, right? As co-CEOs of this company, if one person is going to be stronger at something than the other. And
at a
some days it's
certain
going to be
point, at a certain point, not all the time,
yes,
because
oh,
it goes up
absolutely,
and down.
absolutely. And there are going to be
Yeah.
moments whereby I'm stronger at something than you are. In this case, this is the moment whereby you are carrying the bills. It's not going to be forever. You obviously had a husband who was, I mean, this is also the husband as well. You know that it's not going to be forever. Yes, your wife is having to carry it now. Yes, she's stressing about the bills. At one point in time, you were the one stressing about the bills. So whether we like it or not, support her in the way you can. Understand where she's coming from, that she's not used to, maybe she's not used to carrying all of the bills, but tell her that and let her see that you're actually actively working towards fixing the situation. It's going to be both of you soon. But I don't think that you should look at yourself and think less of yourself because you've lost your job or less of yourself because you can't provide right now. At one point in time, you were the one doing it or you were able to at least contribute, whatever the situation is for their dynamic of their relationship. But like it or not, you have to center yourself. Stop
And
allowing
also,
these things.
and also, perhaps you should not read too much into whatever she has PMS.
Exactly,
She
because
has all sorts of
there's a
things.
level of sensitivity that comes,
Yeah.
you're talking to me somehow because you would have had that
Well,
argument regardless.
yes,
Regardless.
and maybe I don't know if she's the one getting the job and getting, where does she have time to be quarreling? Because she'll be so busy. I think he's just also possibly sitting there, overthinking all sorts of things.
But you know
If
how
she's,
men are now.
you know,
You know, the funny thing is that it's easier for a woman to be without a job and manage herself than it is for a man because of their egos.
I mean, well, personally, if I were in that position, I don't have time for your egos. You get over yourself. Go and drink Coca-Cola and leave me alone so I can face my job, so that we can have something in the house.
Out of this is Rod, since he's the one that even has time to even be writing in, which I'm very grateful for. We thank everybody for all the
Yes.
letters and messages that they send
Mm.
in. But we are grateful that you're actually coming out because most men won't even do that. Most men will either drink. Funny enough, is when men have hardship that they're the most badly behaved. When something is
Well,
going wrong,
well,
right or wrong,
well, Remy, this our brother here. If he can't even afford to be badly behaved because he doesn't even have money to be badly
they
behaved.
find it way, sweethearts. Look at the experience of things you know. They find a way.
Okay, he will
You and
find
I
a way
both.
to sleep in the Megad's room. He will sleep in the boys' quarter. If he finds a way, then find a way to sleep in the boys' quarter whilst you're at it.
Trying to make this way, crazy friend. The point I'm trying to make is that he needs to pull himself out of this rut. I understand that it's tough. I understand being a provider. I understand what it does to your ego. However, as you're holding that in one hand, remember there's two of you in this boat, and you need to think of your co-CEO. Let's go back to my company analogy, the co-CEO. And like it or not, you can't, even if you cannot bring the financial support, there's so many other things that you can do that will still allow this person to see that, okay, you value her, you understand that she's doing the A, B, C, D, E, and you are going to be able to get back in the game as soon as you can. But how you think about yourself matters. You are not being disrespected just because you didn't bring money in. That argument you would have had even if you were bringing the money in. She would have still asked you to take out the trash. She would have still asked you to help with the kids, regardless of whether you were the one paying the bills or not. If she still needs your help, she will still ask for help. So don't take it so personal because you feel like you're not working. That's why you're asking me to do A,
Yeah.
B, C, D, E.
Yeah,
I don't think she's.
and if you stop nitpicking, if you stop because it's just because I mean the lady's busy working. I feel, oh, by the way, if they have kids, which he didn't state, but if they have kids, she's also going to make sure that food is on the table, but cooking and all these sort of things. All I'm
Help
hearing
where
is,
you can. Help
yeah,
where you can.
he should Put on his big boy pants and stop lamenting, and get on with
Titi is
it.
one for tough love. Titi will do. Me, I will still be Titi. I'll still be giving people like the benefit of that. Should be like, what kind of nonsense is this? Titi does not have time. That's the
Yeah,
kind of.
because the lady is so busy. He's so busy. And he will
I get that she's busy. But you know that even being busy, you still have a response. I can't say this enough. Even being busy, you still have a response. You still have to find this balance.
Yeah, but you can't also break her back in the process.
Oh no, I'm not saying she does. She's not
Yeah,
supposed to break her
trying
back. But we still have to
to
find this balance
trying
because in
to
order for him to, from what you were hearing from him right now, he's got a lot of his own issues and he's in his own head. If she doesn't help him get out of his head, he's not going to be able to be more beneficial for her in the future, right or wrong.
I don't agree.
Yeah, you would not agree. But the truth of the matter is that is also part of it too. We always agree to disagree. So this is a normal argument for both of us. Because I would have a view on some things and she would have different. And I always say that I love my friends that have differing views. We don't have to agree on everything.
Oh, definitely.
But we always respect each other's opinions.
100%.
And I love the fact that, okay, there's still truth in what she's saying. There's sense in what she's saying. I may not agree with it fully, but I get where she's coming from. And I also know where I'm coming from. I'm saying that, like it or not, I've seen so many people that is in the midst of this turmoil that something else happens. Let's not even start on the cheating bit. I've seen so many people like, I don't even understand how you had time to do this, and this. I don't understand how this happened. So that's why you cannot say that you are bringing money, and because you are bringing money or that you are paying the bills, that you can't still look at the fact that the person is emotionally not okay. Because like it or not, if you are the stronger one, then they're still relying on you for that moral support too. Now, I'm not saying break your back, but I'm just saying that there's more that's expected from your partner as well. Both of you are still supposed to see each other as partners. Yes, that partner, you might be bringing in the financial, but he still needs emotional support from you too. And you need emotional support from him as well. Lastly, my darling friend, because we've come to the end of our show, what do you have to say to the audience in regards to, you can pick out on anything, because I know you always have an opinion on almost anything, but let's talk about couples. What would be the advice you would give to couples out there today as we're ending our show?
So basically, I think that couples should learn to just allow each other, the people that are married or taken seriously to be married. I think that some people tend, let me be careful how I word this. People forget that you are an individual. You will always be an individual into a coming together of a lifetime partnership of any sort. So you must also remember to, stay within the guards of what made you appealing to the other person.
Absolutely.
Stop trying to lose yourself or recreating yourself to be something else, because eventually you end up resenting yourself at some point because you feel like you've lost yourself. And, as a result, okay, well, I did this, I did that, I did this, but you are no longer yourself because you're married. Be it. And then in coming together, continue to celebrate each other. What I'm trying to say is, married couples forget to be the individuals they've been from day one. Be your individual self, and you can still be married. A lot of people think that because you're married or one piece of paper changes you as a human being. I genuinely don't understand that part.
I think that in all honesty, what ends up happening is it's new. Not everybody has experience being in a relationship and maintaining their sense of identity, but that also comes back to who you were and your upbringing. If you were solid, because remember, from a lot of us, all of us came from troubled homes, so a lot of us didn't even know who we were before we got married. So when you say, you should maintain your identity, what if I don't even know who I was? So how can I maintain when I didn't even figure myself out? Truthfully, because I didn't understand. I can honestly say that I knew portions of myself. I didn't know myself fully until I got married. And the reason why I say that marriage will change you, whether you like it or not, is because it's like a mirror. You're now finally seeing yourself fully. If you did not see yourself fully before, marriage will allow you to see all the versions of yourself, because there's now somebody there 24/7 that can keep showing you, where before you could hide, where before you were probably coming from your father's house and nobody really pointed out, these are your flaws or this is what you need to work on. So you didn't even see it. So for many people, marriage is where they're actually just figuring themselves out. My husband would say that it was until he got married to me and that he realized that, okay, maybe he was a bit self-centered or that he was a bit, there's so many things that he's
No.
involved on. So we are meant to change in marriage. I believe you are
No.
meant to change because you're now not longer thinking about just yourself.
Mhm.
You're now thinking about yourself, your partner, and your children. So you're going to change, but don't lose. I'm not saying don't go and become a hermit when you used to be a social butterfly.
Right.
That's the problem because you would then regret the fact that, wait, I was once the girl that used to be outgoing.
Right.
Have
So,
balance with everything you do. Have balance and
Mhm.
have the days that you are still this social butterfly so you
Mhm.
don't miss her. Or if you are the guy that, okay, always played golf, find time to play your golf. It might not be as frequently as you were doing it before because now you have
Yeah.
other responsibilities, but
Mhm.
don't disconnect from it fully, is what I would say.
Yeah.
But you are going to change in marriage because now you're thinking
Okay.
about not just yourself. You have
Yeah.
got to start thinking about all these other people that are part of your family, which was
Mm.
never the case before.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love you, love you, love you. Thank you for giving us an hour of your time. I
Appreciate it.
appreciate you and love you dearly. Thank you for giving us your input and your insight. Thank you guys for also for tuning in to another wonderful episode. We will catch you again next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.